How you doing? This is Kenneth Ford. This is part 3 of homework 5. Homework 5 of part 3, we had to implement a JK flip-flop using the asynchronous set. For my inputs, I use J, K, a clock, and a set. For my outputs, I use Q and Q naught. Once again, for my signal input, I use a temp 1. If set is equal to 1, then my temp 1 signal input would be a 1. If clock event and clock is equal to 1, and if J is equal to 0 and K is equal to 0, temp 1 is equal to temp 1. Else, if J is equal to 0 and K is equal to 1, which will activate my reset button, or action you call it, temp 1 will equal to 0. Else, if J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 0, then it will activate that set action, then temp 1 will equal to 1. Else, if J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1, then temp 1 will equal to not temp 1, which will activate my toggle action. My Q output is equal to temp 1, and my Q naught output is equal to not temp 1. For my wave, I be forcing my J to 0, my K to 0, setting my 1, set to 1, and forcing my clock to 1. And once again, for this, I will run a 100. Q is equal to 1 because my asynchronous set, Q naught is equal to 0. So once again, I will have to reset my clock back to 0 to clear that out the way. Run another 100. Setting my clock to 0. Now I want to activate that reset action. So I'll set my clock to 1. Set my set to 0. And K to 1. Run a 100. And now my Q is equal to 0, while my Q naught is equal to 1, when my K is equal to 1, and my J is equal to 0 on the active clock edge. So now I have to reset my clock edge back to 0 and run another 100. And now I'll set my clock edge back to a 1. Set K equal to 0. And my J equal to 1 to activate that set action. Run another 100. So now my Q input is equal to 1, while my Q naught is equal to 0 because of my J is equal to 1 and my K is equal to 0 on the active clock edge. So now once again, I have to set my clock edge equal to 0. Run another 100. Set my clock edge back to 1. And I'm about to implement that toggle action. Run another 100. Now my Q is equal to 0 and my Q naught is equal to 1 because of my Q equaling to 1, the previous action, because it was set, and my Q naught is equal to 0 on the previous set too. So now I have to clear the action once again. Run another 100. Activate my clock edge once again. And I move all these back to 0, my K and my J. Run another 100. And it stayed the same. My Q is equal to 0, while my Q naught is equal to 1. Thank you.